Welcome, everybody, to PinstripeChronicles, your best source for the most entertaining takes on the Yankees baseball. Sports isn't scripted, neither are we. I'm Tats, here with Donald, Rob, and...
Well, of course, the intro is scripted, so go figure.
Hate you. Oh, you're lucky this is a family show. But no, the Yankees, were unable to complete the sweep. Not the end of the world. The bullpen was gonna have a bad day. Licky, it's not like and it's not from overuse. It's not from mismanagement. It was just Licky just didn't have it. And the offense did not have it. Specifically one person that we'll refer to specifically in a little bit. But to put it in, to put a little clarity on how it went, we had an 11-game winning streak that got snapped, and then we went 10-3, and then lost yesterday for that third loss. All still good. We're in a good spot, And there's a lot of talk about how, well, let's see what happens when you play Tampa. Well, I'm not worried about Tampa right now. Right now, we need to make sure that we handle the business of the teams we're playing. We need to stop looking so far ahead that we're losing sight of what we're watching now. And we're going against the White Sox team today to start a 3-game series that we handled them very well when we had to visit them in their home park. So now that we're home, we could still, assert our dominance over that lineup. And the pitching staff can get back on track. These are teams you could go into today's game knowing that we've already handled this before. We've been through this before, and we were fine. We could do it again. That's the championship mentality. That's the mentality that we need to have. That's the mentality they need to have on the field itself. So, what was your take on having, not being able to sweep Baltimore, and all of a sudden that now the sky is falling?
I wouldn't say the sky is falling.
Well, some fans are thinking the sky is falling because we can't sweep a bad team.
Well, that's Twitter. Look, I'm glad we're in a position that we can actually say that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because last year losing any game to Baltimore is a shame.
Yeah.
But the fact that we continue to win series, and we should have won that game yesterday, let's be honest, but the bullpen had a very rare overall bad day, except for one guy. Peralta was great, and everybody else struggled. You don't see that every day. Castro struggled, and I had just hyped him up before the game. So I blame myself for that one. Castro struggled. Whitkey struggled. Loaiza didn't look good. Chad Green, I mean, just the whole – everyone that was used.
Montgomery wasn't great either.
Montgomery wasn't even good either. And we finally got him some early run support. Look at that. You get 2 runs for him, and he's like, I don't want it. And he just gave it right back. So rare bad day for the pitching. And look, the offense wasn't great, but we still put 5 on the board. I mean, 6. Usually that's good enough for us to win a game this year. So we got some big hits when we needed it, IKF and DJ, but we had the base. Yeah, I thought and Stanton early in the game, and I thought he was going to do it again when we had the bases loaded. But look, the fact that we can say we took 3 out of 4, we're in a good spot. We're in a really good spot, and we're not looking ahead to Tampa in another week. We're saying we're taking this series by series, game by game, because last year they would have planned ahead for Tampa. Okay, we're going to take a few days off here against Baltimore. We got 7 against Baltimore before we played the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's plan for that. No, they're saying we're going to go out and try to win every game until we got Tampa Bay coming up. So there's a big difference. I'm not worried. I'm upset we lost, sure, but I'm not going to complain about losing to the Orioles once out of 4 games. You're not going to win them all. And if you take every series, then you're fine by the time you get to the final 2 months.
If you have a 100-loss season like the Orioles are predicted to have, that means you're still going to squeak out 60 wins. So and the other thing is, these are major league players. They're in the early stages of their career, but they still have a chance to produce, to grow to be a strong team, especially that they're all coming up together. And we saw how that worked for us in 2017. When you bring the the minor leaguers up all at the same time. We saw it with the dynasty years, with the core four. When they grow into the game together, they have a different level of a bond as teammates, and they play hard for each other. The bats in yesterday's game for Baltimore played very well. They read up pitch. They handled up pitching. Sometimes you just got to say they got the better of us for a game. It's not the end of the world. Donald, you're at bat. Your turn.
Okay, so we'd have scored a lot more than 6 runs if not for Aaron Hicks. And we'll get into Aaron Hicks plenty to say about him. But it's a good sign that we scored 6 runs and he had numerous opportunities. And anybody else in his spot, we'd probably drive in another 3 or 4, and the Yankees win the game. It happens, man. It really happens. There was a couple of things that we got hosed on. Rizzo obviously got thrown out the game because he was annoyed at being called out on, like, there was like 3 pitches that were like a foot outside the strike zone, and 2 called strikes that were literally caught at his toes.
Those would have even been called. Those would have been a ball for Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Hicks usually hits them, with a sand wedge. And when he's golfing, that's how it was basically on the ground when these balls were caught. So that was unfortunate because that screwed us, because obviously we should have had Rizzo scooping balls up at first base. That definitely screwed us. And then Aaron Hicks screwed us. Obviously Aaron Boone, I think it's fair to say that it's the first time this year that the calls didn't go his way. They probably should have kept Montgomery out longer than 75 pitches. And is Litke really somebody that you want in the 9th inning? He's not really pitched in a couple of weeks. I think it's probably fair to say that it was a risk. But then what do? You want to go Chapman or you don't want to go Chapman? So he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. It just kind of sucks that after DJ LeMahieu's heroic clutch RBI, to force the game to continue, you would have liked to have won the game for him there. You don't like to lose games where you make a dramatic 9th inning comeback. That annoys me. I don't like that at all. So I think I even would have considered going with a more high leverage arm to ensure that this goes to extras at least. But it is what it is. I thought that it was, it was a fun game though, man. I mean, it wasn't a bad game, and I'm not annoyed that we lost necessarily. It's not like the sky's falling. 3 out of 4 is still strong. I think when you combine it with the fact that the only series that we've lost this year is from the Orioles, then there is an element of concern there. You don't like to lose any games to the Orioles because they're just not a good outfit. Basically, Trey Mancini's good.
Santander
is very good.
Yeah. Hayes is a good hitter. Mullins, they have bats.
Mullins is okay, but he's struggled this year. They do have some at bats, but they don't have any pitching. So yeah, listen, it wasn't good. We shouldn't have lost, but I put it all on Aaron Hicks. If you're gonna put an L on somebody, I wouldn't have put the L on Litke or anyone. I put it squarely on Aaron Hicks, man. He's the one that carries the L.
No,
they should have L's for position players that completely blow ball games.
Mm-hmm.
And he was it, man. He was it. In every facet of the game, he blew. He is a freaking horrible baseball player.
Well, that's why I even tweeted out. I'm like, this loss is on Hicks. Yeah. And he left 5 men on base. So did Torres, to be fair. When you look at the box score, you see Torres also left 5 men on base. But Torres has been more productive overall than Hicks has. So Torres gets a little bit of a pass for just not, for having a rough game. Hicks has just had a rough season. You know, he's only shown little glimpses that he was coming out of it, and then he slides right back into, you know, being a terrible player. You know, the Yankees left 23 men on base yesterday. That's not the pitcher. That's not the fault of the pitching. You know, it was the fault of the hitting. The offense just couldn't
Well,
get
Hicks
it.
was, I mean, Rob, you were right to point out, and with Hicks
That base is
batting
loaded.
sixth, and Hicks was batting sixth in the order, and you obviously said, "Oh no, what is Hicks doing batting sixth?" That's why, man. You can't have him putting in these high leverage spots because he's going to come in RBI opportunities and he's going to screw it up. I mean, I said in our group chat, the radio group chat, what's the bet on Hicks striking out? We're here with the bases loaded. That's exactly what happened. I said, I'm calling strikeout right here. And guess what? It was a strikeout. But it's not just offensively, because first of all, he can't see anything. He's you can't see anything. Can't see any pitch. Yeah. He's swinging from the tips of his toes all the way up. At one point, he just dropped his bat because he swung so high, so hard, and so crazily and so badly that he ended up dropping the bat after a strikeout. That just shows how pathetic his attempts are. But what's worse. What Tats?
Go.
All right, okay. What's worse is his freaking defense was absolutely disgraceful. Disgraceful. Yep. There was a shallow single to center field, right? That any center fielder that actually ran to the ball would have caught, but he just kind of leisurely walked to it, and he didn't make any attempt to make that catch. He easily could have made that catch, but he just kind of got there eventually. That's cool. Just take my time. But the worst example was when he allowed the guy to tag up from first to second to end up scoring, because he took a terrible route to the ball when he caught the ball and made no effort to throw the ball back into the infield, which even Maben, who's falling over himself to defend Hicks all year, ended up just going, you can't do that. That's not good. And then Beltran, same thing. Both pointed out he took a terrible route to the ball and then made no effort to throw the ball back in the infield with any kind of urgency. He's just sort of, what time is it, guys? Huh? I'll take my time. Has anyone seen the game yesterday? That's pretty good. Huh? I'll just throw the ball. He's lazy. He's slow. He's taking terrible routes to the ball. He's barely catching the ball. He's not even catching the ball in the outfield. And it's not, so his outfield is atrocious. And offensively, he's disgusting. Is disgraceful what he's doing offensively. He should not be a Yankee anymore. I mean, I would consider DFAing him and just calling up Florial. I don't care what they do with Hicks. He should not be starting again. Judge center field. Stanton right. Left field, you got Gallo until the trade deadline. Hopefully, you get somebody like Benintendi or something that can hit the ball properly. But then you've got Florial that can come in other than Gallo. You can maybe sort it out one way or the other. Or you could have Florial play center field, Judge and right, Stanton and left, or Gallo and left. I don't care what they do, but they need to have Florial called up. And they need to get rid of Aaron Hicks. He is a disgrace. You frickin' suck, Aaron.
Yeah. he needs to go. Like, it's terrible. He's not putting up good at bats. He's making me not know what to say. Like, that's how bad it is. I'm at a loss for words almost.
Yep.
I feel like we've said enough.
I think a good breakdown on Hicks's at bat, especially that one in the sixth inning. Bases loaded. You had normally, when you see a long at bat, you say the advantage goes to the hitter because you get the pitcher all frustrated. With Hicks, it's the other way around. The longer the at bat goes, the more he's getting frustrated, and he'll just take a bad hack at a pitch. And that's exactly what we see with him. It almost seems like he's lost any confidence in himself. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, how are you going to expect other people to be confident in you?
You can see that how hard he's swinging that bat because his helmet's flying off as he's swinging.
Yeah, you can't. That's That
He's
can't
swinging
happen.
himself out of his helmet. It's like, remember when Nunez used to slide and his helmet kept falling off?
Yeah.
Like, this guy is swinging so hard, his helmet's like, and it's just, that shouldn't be happening. He's trying too hard. He's trying to be the hero, but he can't get contact to save his life. He's literally good for one thing. That's the occasional walk. That's it. He's not even good for defense anymore because he's lazy out there. At least that's what it looks like, because before you can say, okay, well, if you put Hicks in the 9 spot, you're going to get the occasional walk. He can run the bases pretty well, and he's a solid defensive center fielder. Okay, for $10 million, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But now you're getting a guy that's going to draw a walk every 5-6 plate appearances. He's not going to get on base enough to even worry about his speed, and his defense has been putrid for a guy that's been known as a good defensive center fielder. So what are you getting out of him? And if this is the case, look, the Angels had to get rid of Upton despite being owed a lot of money. He wasn't producing for him. The Mets had to get rid of Cano. He was owed a lot more, or not a lot more, but he was owed almost the same amount as what Hicks is owed for the next few years of his contract. The Mets said, you're not producing, we got to let you go. The Yankees have to do this. They did it with Ellsbury. They forced Rodriguez to retire basically early on and still paid him. At this point, you're getting no production from the guy. It's hurting you, putting him in the lineup every day, offensively and defensively. He costs you the game, literally, because at least with Gleyber Torres, like you said, you give him a pass because he's come through for us several times already this year. Not even going back to past years. Just the past few weeks, he's come through in big spots for us. Aaron Hicks has yet to do that in years for us. So at this point, what is it going to hurt? Just DFA him. Maybe there's a team willing to take him on for a nothing prospect. But if you have to get rid of him and let Florial see what you have and let him get regular playing time between now and, I don't know, the All-Star break, and then maybe you can make it a decision to make a move for a center fielder, but you're getting nothing from Hicks. Florial can match that at least. It's almost impossible not to match that. Exactly. And Florial just ran into the wall yesterday trying to track down a fly ball. That's in AAA. Aaron Hicks is taking a lazy route and throwing it in a major league ball game. So you tell me who wants to be out there more.
I was going to say, yeah, Hicks checked out on that play in the outfield. He's given up. And sorry, I can't support somebody that gave up on himself.
But I've been saying it when he was playing left field.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't taking good routes to the ball, and he was taking a very lazy approach to throwing the ball in. And he's not hustling in to make shallow pop-ups. He's just waiting and watching it drop in front of him. I don't know why. He's obviously afraid to overextend himself and get hurt. So he's just a big statue out there. He's playing below average left field. You should have Marvin Gonzalez playing left field before you ever play Aaron Hicks in left field. And Aaron Hicks is playing an atrocious center field. Absolutely atrocious. I mean, if you look at his numbers, man, he's 4 for 43. And just 2 extra base hits this entire year, just 1 home run. Florial could do that in a week, man. Florial could get 2 extra base hits in a week, and we've had Aaron Hicks playing basically every day for almost 2 months now. We're playing a quarter of the season. He's providing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. By accident, you could go 4 for 43. By accident, I'm pretty sure that the three of us could somehow manage to pull together 4 for 43 at some point. The dude is doing nothing. All he does is stand there waiting for walks, which is my approach because I can't hit shit. All I do is wait. I'm like, please walk me. I've got a great eye. Just please walk me because I can't hit nothing. And that's what Aaron Hicks is. He comes up going, I can't hit nothing. I'm just really hoping for a walk here. And that's all anybody could ever dream of with Aaron Hicks, because that's all he can do. And he ain't even doing that much, actually, lately. During this slump, he's had I think he's only drawn 1 walk. So he's in a terrible slump. He's a terrible baseball player. Oh God, I just cannot stand him. I just can't.
When you're coming back from an injury,
Rob, put your fedora on. We need to put your fedora on. This is serious. This is serious stuff.
It's time for the gabagool.
This is Gabagool.
Look,
What's the Gabagool got to say about Joey
the
Gallo?
gabagool.
We're going full props now, all right?
Look, see? Listen here. Listen here. Look, even I'm going to be honest for a second. The analytics tell you the guy sucks too.
Yeah.
Look, like I'm looking at his baseball savant page right now, and everything except for chase rate and walk percentage is in the blue. So guess what? It's bad. Everything. His average exit velocity, 26th percentile. Maximum exit velocity, 28th percentile. Here's one. Hard hit percentage, 9 percentile.
Oh.
9. He's not hitting it hard. His expected batting average is low. His weighted on base average, low. His barrel percentage, 2. He's not barreling. He's not hitting it hard. His outs above average. Guess what? That's also in the blue. So he's bad analytically, offensively, defensively, and during the eye test, he's bad.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go. You gotta get rid of him. Just get rid of him because he's not helping you win. If the analytics said he's running into bad luck, then yeah, you trust that because it's worked for Donaldson. It's worked for other guys in the past, and the Yankees have obviously gone with the analytics route. But everything's telling you this guy's just flat out bad right now. So,
I mean, the barrel rate alone is, like you said, if he's having hard contact and hitting into bad luck, you can kind of ride with it. Yeah, but the way he's playing, it's just unacceptable. And
I look like a cowboy. I gotta take this off.
Or if he was just coming back from the injury. And it's just a couple of games. He's trying to get his feet wet. Make sure that everything is, nothing's hurting anymore. But this is almost, we're well into the season now. There should be no rust. So if all the rust is off from him having all the injury setbacks, then this is just what we're going to get from him this year. And that the way he's playing has no place on this roster.
If this team was as different, I still believe we're a different team this year than we have been in years past.
Oh yeah.
If you really want to prove that to us, they would make a statement right now, bench him, and Florial would be called up. Mm-hmm. I don't know who they'd have to send down to do so because they're not going to DFA Hicks just yet. They're gonna wait it out a little bit more, unfortunately. But someone would have to be sent down. And they can't send down Trevino. They can't get rid of Gonzalez. And so you kind of have no choice. You're not going to send down Torres. He's technically the bench player. So it'd have to be a pitcher, and they like carrying that extra pitcher until the rules will change at the end of the month. So, I mean, but they should make a statement. They should make a statement and say, look, you're not playing, so we have to let you go, and we're gonna give the kid a shot finally, because I do believe if LoCastro is healthy that they might play him more, but that's probably what's holding it up because they know LoCastro will come back in the next few weeks. So they're like, let's not make a move here just yet. But if they really wanted to make a statement, you got to perform or you're not going to have a place. But right now, you kind of don't really have a choice. But you could just put Gonzalez out there and but you don't want to start judging center every single day. Yeah. Because he's still so good at right field. So unfortunately, you kind of have no choice but to play him every so often, but he should not be starting. He really should not be starting. Maybe play him once every 6 games, just out of.
I would like to see Boone make a statement today and have him out of the lineup.
Yeah.
If he's still in the lineup, then I'll use the word disgraceful because he made no effort yesterday. He made zero effort out there.
It's because he's destroying all the the baseball cliches. You can't get out of a slump on the bench. Well, he shouldn't even be. He's a player that shouldn't even be in a slump. So you gotta if you don't hit, you sit. How about we start using that cliche? It worked for Terry Collins, when he put that into play with the Mets. And look, and they started turning it around a little bit, but you can't just, they better not have him in that lineup. That's all I got to say. Because especially with the White Sox offense, they could put up runs. We need to put our most dominant lineup out to compete with, to match up with them. And having Hicks anywhere in that lineup, I don't care if it's in the 9th spot. You cannot have him in that lineup tonight. He's got to take a he's got to sit in the corner until he have him write down. I will not strike out with the bases loaded 100 times on a piece of loose leaf paper. Oh, I just had enough. I could treat him like a freaking baby now.
He's actually got a 0.00 batting average with the bases loaded this year. 0.00. He's got a 100 batting average with runners in scoring position. This is him, man. This is him. This is not an accident anymore. This is him.
It's not even like the bad Aaron Hicks of years past was like a 220, 230 hitter. He's going to pop a few. The defense is going to be good enough. Like I said earlier, you're going to live with it for the money he's making. It's not the worst.
Take that.
Yeah, you would take that, right? If he was hitting 230 if he at this point 6 or 7 home runs, something like that. But he's got nothing, no power. He's not going the other way. He's not running the base as well because he's not getting on base enough. He's hitting below 200 now. So even the old school fans are like, what is he? Because, and like I said earlier, the analytics don't tell you he's coming out of this anytime soon. Back earlier this season, remember when Aaron Boone said, I think we're turning the corner, and everyone was like, oh, there he goes again. He actually had reason to say that because we were hitting the ball well. We were just getting unlucky, and he was right. This is not the case with Aaron Hicks. He's not hitting the ball at all. He's not making contact, and when he does, he's popping it up. So there's no evidence to back it up saying that he's going to turn this around. We're seeing good things because you're seeing nothing. You're seeing bad at-bats. You're seeing bad defense. He's not taking good routes to the ball. He's not throwing with urgency. When you let a guy tag up from first to second, that either the ball was way too deep, like something that happens in Fenway with that weird thing they have in center, but he just was regular old throw in when the guy's just not going to move or there's nobody on base. You cannot let a runner tag from first to second in that spot of the game and have no urgency. That alone should get him benched. But again, because we're going against a lefty today in Keuchel, and he might walk somebody, I have a bad feeling Aaron Hicks is going to start tonight. It should be Marwin Gonzalez with with Judge in center field, and maybe you DH Stanton. But I don't know. I just don't want to see him in the lineup. But he might. I have a bad feeling he might be.
Another L, not just Aaron Hicks. This new Camden Yards wall in left field being brought back is absolutely atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. Stanton was robbed of a home run there. He hit that. He absolutely lined that double, but if that wall wasn't moved back a further 10 feet, then that was a home run. You know what I mean?
I think they said that home run that would have been a home run in 28 of the 30 ballparks.
Yeah, he absolutely lined that. It was such a monster shot. My mouth dropped. I was like, wow, but lined off the wall. But then it was the same for Aaron Judge, and Aaron Boone called it the creative part, and he's right. I'm glad he said that, man, because honestly, it's a farce. This is an opportunity to give a shout out to Ball 9 because Kevin Kiernan's got an article on that. Have you guys read the article yet?
I have not. I actually have it on my list of things that I'm going to be
get it read because it discusses discusses Aaron Judge, discusses how Stanton is so much a better hitter when he's in the outfield, but also how the Nerds have destroyed Baltimore Orioles because they think that instead of improving our actual team, what we're do is just take away all the home runs in the park by just moving this wall back like 20 feet and then have it like 13 feet as opposed to 7 feet height. It's just stupid, but it just shows how monster home run Stanton was because it was the very first home run that was hit over the left field wall. That was how much he crushed it the second time around. So Stanton is an absolute animal, but the Baltimore Orioles are such a disgrace. We don't want to spend any money. We don't want to, We don't want to compete. We don't want to spend money on putting together a good offense or a good defense or a competitive team. No, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the stats and say, wow, there seem to be hitting too many home runs to left field, including ourselves. So what we're going to do is remove all home runs to left field. That'll make us better. Oh, because apparently analytically, because Michael Kay said that. Oh, their plan was that pitchers are going to want to pitch for Baltimore in the future. Well, excuse me, pitchers don't want to pitch for free. Baltimore aren't going to pay you, right? One, because you don't want to compete. Two, why would you ever go to Baltimore when they've lost 115 games basically every single year? They are a disgraceful organization. They're such a waste of space. They are a complete nothing waste of space. Now, they've got some loyal fans and they've got a very historic park, but the organization itself is a complete waste of space. So they had to rely on analytics to come up with this bullshit, like moving the wall back is going to make them a better team. No, spend money and compete. That'll make you a better freaking team.
Doesn't even look good. It just looks weird. It looks like somebody took, like in a video game, you select the wall and you just push it back. That's what it looks like, because that stupid little thing in the corner. There's already been one player that's ran into it this year. It just looks stupid. Like, remember when Minute Maid had that dumb Tall's Hill in center field? Yeah. How dumb that looked. This looks worse. Like, this is worse than the pesky pole in Fenway. This is worse than the Green Monster. This is worse than the Little League short porch that we had. This is just dumb, because you're hurting. Well, the opposing team might not hit home runs, but neither will you, because guess what? You don't have that much power in your lineup besides maybe Mancini and Mullins and a couple other dudes. But what are they doing?
What does it say when, Chirinos is the first player to ever hit a home run to that part of the field and to that part of the park?
Stanton was.
No, Chirinos hit it first, and then Stanton hit the home run.
Stanton was the first opponent to hit one over that wall.
Yeah.
But Chirinos had the first home run to that part of the park.
It takes the Hulk, which Stanton is, basic power-wise. There's no one in the world that has the power of Giancarlo Stanton, and it took him to try and clear that wall, because no one else can freaking do it. Well, good luck with Baltimore doing it in the future. They don't have any Stantons coming to bat. Trust me. That is the dumbest organization. They are the dumbest organization. Dumb decision. I don't know what they were thinking, because it just looks like they took a bunch of trucks and pushed it does. Back. It looks like they wheeled it back, going, we got you now. I mean, you still lost 3 out of 4. So what did you? The reason is a fact that their analytics team sat down and says, well, we can actually, maybe this will actually help us by attracting free agent pitchers in the future if we move this back so that it becomes a pitcher's park as opposed to a hitter's park. That's what they're thinking. It's so deranged thinking, because they don't spend to compete anyway. So it's ridiculous. What pitchers are fawning over the idea of going to Baltimore right now? Matt Harvey, he just got suspended again. So yeah, I don't think no one wants to be in Baltimore. No one. So I'm glad that we're out of that park. I used to love fucking watching us play in that park. It was a great park. And it wasn't just because we hit home runs all the time. It was a beautiful park. Yeah, we used to call it Yankee Stadium South. Of course. Full of Yankee fans. Now, do you prefer Orioles Park or Tropicana? Oh, that thing needs to go. I hate that damn. That's the ugliest. I take everything I just said about the wall in left field back, because that excuse. I hate that place. Have you ever been there? The Yankees get stuck playing in the stupidest freaking ballparks between the catwalks. You got to hit it 1,000 feet, and then you have your own rules. You have your own rules for the roof. That's how bad of a stadium or a dome, whatever the hell it is. It is ugly on the outside. If you've ever been there, the stadium inside looks dumb. Everything about it, and the fact that ball hits the catwalk more than once a season, and you have to have special rules for your freaking roof, that tells me that the ballpark should be knocked down. It is a roof. It should not be part of the rule. There's nothing.
the stadium should have rules for the walls. Like, do they clear that yellow line to determine if it's a home run, if it's still in play? No, the roof should not be in play. It's taking away hits from us. It's like, well, why is it our fault the Rays can't build a stadium? Remember,
Exactly.
Chase Headley
Who
did
designed that stupid?
Remember when Clint Frazier absolutely blasted it, but it went straight up into the roof and bounced down in the infield? And then it was called out, even though it was, my God. You know what it's like? It's like playing baseball in your own apartment, right? What are the rules when the ball hits your own ceiling? Huh? Oh, it's hit my fan. What are the rules for that? Is that an out or is that a ground rule double? That's what Tropicana Field is.
Throws the ball.
That's what Tropicana Field is. It's the dumbest place.
Big Tropicana sign and right. It just nobody goes there, and they're like, "Why can't we attract fans? We're a winning organization." Because nobody wants to go to your abomination of a ballpark. There's no such thing as a Tampa Bay Rays fan that really anyway, unless they're in the playoffs. And even in the playoffs, they probably get outsold by the opposition. The Yankees played the Rays.
If you know somebody that's a Rays fan, we want to have them on the show and give the hear how they could defend that ballpark.
Not even Rays fans can defend that place, man. Like that catwalk, that whole place is an abomination. If you took away the catwalk, I can be like, all right, it's not the worst thing in the world because it's got AC in there, and Tampa Bay is hot. It's Florida. It's hot. So it's like any place that has AC, you can watch baseball fine. I feel like an old man, but that catwalk, how do you have rules for your roof? Like said Donald, I used to play baseball in my house back when I was a kid with my grandpa, and we had to make rules if it hits the roof or if it hits the picture that we had hanging up on the wall that my dad complained about because we kept knocking it over. There was rules for that. This is not 5-year-old me playing baseball in the house. This is Major League Baseball, and we got rules for the goddamn roof. It's so annoying, and we're not even playing Tampa Bay, but I can't stand that place.
Amen, bro. It's exactly the same.
Well, let's just hope the Yankees handle their business against the White Sox this weekend the way that they could.
I wonder, have the lineup's been announced yet?
No, not yet.
No, they play 7:00 tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the 1:00 game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that'd have been interesting.
Well, definitely tune in on Sunday to the Upper Deck because they'll definitely be breaking down the White Sox series to that point and everything else from the week that they want to chime in on. Great discussion. But that's going to wrap things up for us today. Remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out our social media in the description. Check us out on sportname.com/player. Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku. Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.
Hicks sucks.